Good morning, Camden Catholic. I'm literally going to just beat y'all to the punch. And I literally recorded a flip last night, but then without thinking, and I was so interested in watching the basketball game that I completely forgot to post it. So I'm going to flip it right now. I'm going to post it this morning before you even get to class. So we finished up in class today. How does he know? Anyway, we finished up in class today talking about the flight to Varennes, right? When the king and the queen tried to flee with their family and all of the terrible, terrible things that happened leading up to that made that such a difficult journey. So, the Paris mob, though, is actually going to form when the urban workers and the poor in Paris figure out that this just isn't working out anymore because our own king is trying to flee the country. So what they did is they literally, the news of the flight destroyed the last of the king's popularity with the people, and the popular press started even portraying them as royal pigs. And literally, right? Come on, go forward. There we go. So this literally was the Paris mob. It was a roaming band of urban workers that were running around in the streets with spears, torches, pitchforks, all these other things, and killing any rich people from the first and second estate that they could possibly come across. So it was literally murder in the streets. Now, I know we talked about this in class today, but remember, this revolution is not one that is warlike like ours was. This revolution is a civic revolution. It's a revolution of one group of people against their own countrymen, right? Okay, so to keep going forward, though, this is hilarious. I love this. The Paris mob decides to get a little bit more organized. Now, at the beginning of the revolution, the working men of Paris allowed the revolutionary bourgeois to lead them, right? The urban workers were like, fine, you lead the way, you let us know what we need to do to get our goals accomplished, liberty, equality, fraternity, right? What do we need to do? But by 1790, there was this group, and they were called the Sans-Culottes, right? Now, the Sans-Culottes literally in French means without pants. So there was this gang called the Without Pants Gang, right? It literally means without trousers. They are the ones that began to be politically active. Now, remember, these are urban workers. And when we talked about the Great Fear, we talked about how urban workers did not seek complicated solutions. They wanted simple solutions that would take care of their problems immediately, right? So this is going to make them very, very violent, all right? Extremely violent. Now, eventually, sans-culottes came to refer to any revolutionary citizen. Now, this right here is the first act of the sans-culottes, and excuse me, first act of the sans-culottes of real violence against the king, right? So, after the king tried to flee, remember I told you this today, after the king that tried to flee, he was placed under house arrest in this huge palace. Go figure, right? So he was placed under house arrest inside of this place, the Tuileries Palace in France, right? Enormous, immaculate palace after he was forced to return to France. He's not allowed to leave, and the royal guards have been posted outside because the thing about it is the National Assembly has to keep the king alive, right? They can't, if he dies, then the chances of any real structured limited monarchy from this going forward is going to be really, really easily messed up, right? So what happened is there was an attack on the Tuileries, right? The royal family was living under the house arrest in the Tuileries, and an angry mob of sans-culottes members got into the building on June 20th, 1792, and they found their way to the king. And they grabbed him, and they drug him out after they killed a bunch of his royal guardsmen, and they did the most dastardly thing that they could do to him ever. What do you think they did to him? Tommy, that's close. It's a little too much like Mean Girls there, Laura. No, actually, they forced him to wear a red hat. So they put a red cap of the revolution on his head, and this was much more of a symbol to show that the revolution is now completely in control, that they can dethrone kings, that these people have the ability to now do whatever they want in Paris, right, and in France in general. So now the constitutional monarchy is now over, okay? So the constitutional monarchy that was set up by the Dorm and set up by the original Constitution of France, it's over, okay? France is now considered a republic, and it's called the French First Republic. Sounds a lot like Rome, right? So republic, remember, means rule by the people, right? So This right here, this is where we're going to stop, okay? We're going to stop right here to show you just how much of a massive shift happened symbolically in this revolution. Following the end of the constitutional monarchy, the French government had to find a way to show the world we are no longer the France you once thought we were, all right? So if you look right over here to the left, that is France's old flag. So a way to adopt a new symbol is to adopt a new flag. The new flag of the new French Republic and the new France is actually demonstrated right there. Right there. So now the combined colors all have a meaning. The king is in white, and as you can see, the blue and the red are the colors of Paris. And for the guardsmen uniforms that came from the tricolor to the new French flag. So, like, this is the funny thing about it. The king is in the middle being guarded by the citizenry, right? Like, the idea is that the monarchy cannot function without the protection of its people. Oh, God. Such a really, really intense thing for just 3 colors, right? So, we're going to stop right there. Make sure you come in ready tomorrow because there may or may not be a quiz. There may or may not be a quiz tomorrow. So make sure you come in ready. All right? Just on the French Revolution stuff. All right. Y'all have a good evening, morning, whatever.